permutation is interesting. A BQB Reaper Yaki on the Sombra.
Yep, it'll be a mirror for both teams. So you can get... Look, Reaper is good when Sombra's in the mix, because when Reaper gets hacked, it doesn't really change anything about what he can do.
Just means you have to stay committed, right?
Yeah, I mean, you lose your movement abilities, right? Like, I guess like a little bit of immunity with Rage Block, but doesn't lose all that much, and it can be quite punishing to the Winston. So you see Fate take a few shots there from murdering, has to use a jump to back out. Now it'll be a contest on the point.
Minimal point damage available to the Gladiators. The Mayhem aren't punning too much skill to break through that score action, we'll say. Yaki, you're at 6% of that EMP. Kevster at 55 right now. And he's there to this is how the fight gets started. Gangnam did let it go for the back line and was able to keep Fate topped up, and space will be considered early on in the fight. This is where BQB starts to hurt a little bit more, and there's a defensive biotic orb to actually get the job done.
Yeah, and Shaz ends up running that coalescence that he earns towards the end, where he didn't really have a good chance to win that fight. So it'll be the Florida Mayhem to take the point first. Both Moira's just use it. He's already, you know, he's gonna get this coalescence so fast. He's gonna jump up to like this 70% as soon as we start to get any type of fight come down.
This may be a tale of two EMPs here. The Gladiators might want to preempt the Mayhem if they can get a wide range EMP to start the fight. Right now, though, that seems pretty tough. Next Crowd on the left-hand side of the map. Primal Rage with Fate compounding the issue somewhat. He's controlling the space as Ocean trying to jump on top of the drum. Yaki taking respectful distance now, looking for an opportunity to set the EMP up properly. Okay, he's going first, combined with the self-destruct. Gargoyle gets back in the tank, and then the death bomb from BQB to the right. And this way, they're still a mix from the middle. The damage is shut down on a defense matrix. The Trace comes in, and Dorado is forming. See what's going to be done, but he's out.
Well, Yaki's going to use the EMP here is to start furthering any option at the point. Gargoyle there as well, as the Florida Mayhem, they'll be able to win this in the end. They hold on to that EMP until basically the final moments. They have 3 players alive. Chris now back off the spawn. Now the Gladiators come back, just Coalescence. You'll have a Coalescence for the Florida Mayhem as well. This self-destruct has to be good for space, or else it's going to be first point for the Florida Mayhem.
Self-destruct against a composition that has a lot of built-in immunity and escape mechanics. It's going to be extremely hard for space to get anything with this. 99%, we're into overtime now. Kevster's already going to be forced back by the Coalescence of Gangnam. But Chat has one of his own. That's at least going to keep the Gladiators in the fight for now. But now the Coalescence are gone. Furthering forward, BQB. They're blocked up, and the Gladiators are responding to it. Getting vertical from his Coalescence. That's already off the table. Good work there by BQB just to hold on for that moment for the Florida Mayhem. It's a convincing first round here. The Gladiators look a bit sluggish to start. It's going to be Reaper and Sombra playing for the Gladiators.
If you're Florida, why switch? You almost beat the Valiants playing this style the other day. You watch the Gladiators lose to this type of style against the Philly Fusion. I don't think there's any reason until the Gladiators prove they can beat this type of composition that they switch. The Gladiators, they lose OG right away, so this is going to be Florida getting control of that first point.
The Gladiators got 2 shields in that last round, and well, still don't have any in the second one, so big play from an off angle here.
Big Goose with a ton of healing as well for Lucio at the start, right? Already at 80%.
Wild stuff. He's still less half of what Jack's doing, but that's what Moira is going to provide you. Kevster going down there with the fight is extremely bad. Best just the Florida now go to right in terms of EMP generation. And they don't have to spend too much of import in that fight to win it. Primal Rage and Coalescence. 2 Ults for a fight that is the absolute standard. And Shaz used his Coalescence for nothing.
They now have a chance to match barrier for barrier here coming up, and Yaki will have his EMP. So you're in a great spot here again if you're the Florida Mayhem.
Right, 43% accounting now. EMP, but Shaz, who didn't have a Coalescence anyway. Big Goose is still having the down barriers. So funny little interaction. 2 cloaked Sombras actually running into each other, or their models intersect with one another. So they Wasn't to get much done, but space is self-destruct.
Will be Kevster with a big EMP setup. Okay, so this is from the Yaki one. As didn't even look like maybe it was by Big Goose.
A bit hard to tell from there. The manual hack on the wall. Shaz forces the Mayhem away. And now the Gladiators will move into the lead, 62% to 60. With Guggnam falling early in that fight space. Obviously happy to give up the health of his mech to ensure a clean win. Maybe the Florida Mayhem try and strike now before he can get back in, but he's 55 already.
Oh, absolutely. If you're Florida, you try and strike now with no deep mech space, and that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna just speed right into the defense matrix to help OG there. You see space still not in mech. That kind of hurts. You know, at the point here for the Gladiators, but you get up to 90%. One fight is all you need for the Gladiators. So maybe if you can get a quick fight if you're the Gladiators, then come back with a lot of ultimates, you have a better chance.
The Mayhem want to shut space down in this next fight. They have a Death Blossom ready to go. That next will be a problem. The damage away. BQB you don't care about getting hacked if you're Reaper. Your Hellfire shotgun still works just as well. Gargoyle desuited by Shaz's laser coldness, and the Mayhem are going over now. The Gladiators try to move to the point, ready to retake. The Mayhem can do these numbers. Space D-Mech, Big Goose in deep trouble, falls it back way right, Space fire, but the Mayhem fight across the point from the Coleman from Guggnam, and the Gladiators are in deep trouble. They are floundering, and Space goes to the wire and kill of his own, but Yaki steals it, and that is map number 1.
Avon is so good at the Wrecking Ball that if you were to try and run like Wrecking Ball 4, I believe, like with a team that doesn't have a Wrecking Ball like that, they would just kind of use Speed Boost and run down the rest of your team. So Gargoyle gets tagged at the beginning from Castle, which is pretty big. Gives them really good point progress early on.
That's the Gladiators moving, but they are going to have to stand their ground and fight for the point. OP, you can jump OP for information, get some time away from the opponent, but that's enough time for Florida to move through and get rid of Tester. Now the disruption of Zomba is unabandoned with the Gladiators. They've got the rest of them all over, and Yaki benefits from the side generator. Yes, he was likely to come first.
But you have to have some kind of idea of where Yaki is, and to be able to break some of those up.
If you can in this next fight, give it a rough eye on where space is. See how we fight with it. Jumped on! Down barrier in play for the Gladiators here, but space is D-Mech already. Space has run on range, but he's hit with a hack, so can't do too much thinking and jumping about. But BQB is boots on the ground, doing the dirty work. And again, the Gladiators are garbing force back. Murdering will be staggered.
Yeah, it's a huge EMP from Yaki at the beginning of that. So gives you a Primal Rage Death Blossom here. This is only big if you can get the hack onto Gargoyle though.
OG, where is he looking first? Maybe if he can sort of pop, so something similar. Yeah, he's looking for a support, fairly facing Guggnam, and then denies the high ground from the entirety of the Mayhem. The Gladiators now move in now to their opponents crucible on the low ground. And OG's going to benefit from the call out, feeling a little bit easy. The ball starting Cafe. Perfect time, go! By Yaki's EMP. That is 4 plays for the Gladiators. And again, Burton is back after the fact. He can't escape, kicking over from W. Space is taking down his neck and himself. He's ready for the Death Blossom. Good call for the EMP to prevent BQB's off, but both beats and sound barriers now, and BQB might want to go forward and hit that QT. In fact, no, you don't need to.
Yeah, you don't even need it. And these fights, they go on for so long. You see Space doing 360s, just kind of spot checking here, just using his D to farm, but you'll have another EMP for the Florida Mayhem in this fight. 30 seconds left for the Gladiators. This is not looking good.
Yaki could end it all right here for Hollywood. If he can get a large EMP, he goes for it now. Jelly Space affected by that one. He can and that's Death Blossom from BQB. Murdering tries, gets 1, but that's all he's going to have. Big Goose is pushed away from the point, but Texas still able to secure overtime just for a fleeting moment though. Space is denied entry, he's forced back, hacked, and that will be the round. Not a lot. I mean, 1 hack from Yaki, not even an EMP could seal the deal here. Gladiators now, I mean, they had to play perfect. That's a big ask for them considering that they just haven't looked as comfortable or confident playing style today so far. BQB wants to dot in, breaks up and everything. And he will force the big space back. Now the Mayhem gets the space, they might opt to take the high ground, but right now he's intended to.
The threat of borrowing coalescence here. They just play the corner and take damage.
They're going to be both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tapped in at 95, 96% now. Tends to tuck it out at the start of the fight. Gardner's been sitting in the same distance. Damage in equal measure. The flow of Mayhem just walked over the top of the Gladiators like an absolute tsunami. And that will be it. The Gladiators at least have space on the high ground to try and sort things out somewhat, but they're at 67.6% and they're counting. And already a blink of an eye. 2 maps to 0 for the Mayhem. So it will be verging on the Ashe here. So a little bit of a change up from the Gladiators. See if this sort of puts a bit more pressure on like BQB or Yaki.
Yep, and if they try and get these hacks off, they get a hack on the Fury this time. I was going to say they can use the bubbles, but hack on the Fury, probably right away.
I mean, you are now playing a composition that features a less mobile and more fragile backline in many senses, right? Before you're playing with Moira, so getting away from a Sombra or a Reaper isn't too bad.
If you still have Yaki able to get these hacks for free, and then you just have crit speed boost everybody in, it doesn't matter. These hacks from Yaki have been tremendous, of just being able to put so much pressure after that on the opponent. Now the opponents are some gang option, as they did have a few players get low. Grab EMP, whole hog set up for this next fight. Could be a very fast take here for the Glads.
6th of September at 12:53 PM PT, Matthew Reginald Morello makes a punt. I can't believe it. There's a graviton surge here for the Gladiators though, Matt. They might try and lock this one up real quick.
Time, bitch. I save all my, goals for playoff time.
Max will be wearing a colourful plate shirt.
That won't happen, no.
BQB shuts this down real quick. The EMP set up, finds both tanks, removes them instantly.
The EMP here, right, is pretty devastating. Florida, they get aggressive off of this. They push up. 4 minutes on the clock here. It seems like a lot of time, Mitch, but with the way you can snowball with these EMPs, probably like 1 or 2 really good pushes left.
There, from Gundam to the mirror. Gets ruined. It looks like Gundam might have manually hacked the die to make the mirror would have a really tough time, but that is huge. That's a graviton surge from everyone on the waist. I think the Gladiators realize they need to try and double down here. And see the mirrors draw back into the fight. Don't they lose space? BQB is on a running riot, going from one peg to the other, like that Grim Reaper and off the doors. He has removed some of the easiest targets for the Gladiators. Mirror's going to go down for the second time.
Everything thrown in there though by the Gladiators, and then you get nothing. As this is what I was just talking about. Is no, that fight starts. They use all their ultimates. You got a minute now off of the clock. The Gladiators are really fast point A, but didn't take advantage of that snowball.
It looks like Kevster and Yaki just revealed each other there. So and BQB gets close, and Kevster's head gets turned into pulp. Now Gargoyle wants to push forward a bit. He has to be careful of the charge upside. Stop that damage from the particle laser. And space goes down again. The BQB is 7 final blows, by the way. 1 death with him. My God. Oh, okay, nicely done, Space. There you go. Spy checks and reveals Yaki, who's forced to translocate out. He was replaced with translocate out, and he'll go again. Oh, never mind. He got revealed once more by Kevster on the point. Now, we hack bomb. Oh, yes. Hello, Mirror. Now it's going to be a self-destruct. Mirror got a good charge there because that bomb has to be burst down. Down there now goes into a couple players. BQB instantly gets caught. He got all the energy that he needed to. Now he's going to put it to good use. Yaki is removed. And yeah, that Primal Rage isn't going to keep Faith alive much longer at all. It's Wrecking Ball installed for Gargoyle, but he once again returns to the peripheral place, I think. But oh, wow. Oh, who would have thought that they would finish the round? Yeah, well, I mean, there it is. And that's maybe why we heard the whole fire drop down the BQB going off. He was trying to make a deal. Then Mizaya. Yaki, yeah, he has to get out of there. He'll now have to walk back through a choke with plenty of spam damage. Space. Gargoyle there, flashes the defense making 3. So they don't get too low with health as they approach. Okay, they don't run all the way around. It's a pretty successful, but the hack on Space is perfect. He can't take a breather to stay alive. It's long when he's burnt down instantly. The trade there, Gargoyle trying to run the rest, but they have to deal with with the Zaya of Fury. It's more charged up. The fight continues now. And Space brought back in. A long fight seems to benefit the Gladiators, who have a Mercy in tow.
You have two very strong healers in terms of on a Mercy. You can keep this Roadhog up forever, it feels like.
You return over 1,000 effective health points back to the fight, right?
Yeah.
There's taking breather, which reduces the healing, but also the damage reduction component counts as effective healing, so it's a huge swing.
Finally got in there.
Hey, very low. Okay, now there's more space, but Kira's very charged up and has a Graviton Surge here. Everything's going right for the Gladiators here. They are playing this well. And that space is going to look for a clean up. Birdring, that is just stylish. Love seeing that action. That's just poking right now. He's spy checking at the doorway. He's had to find a chance to sneak through, and he's done so. Snake! 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 Alright, so we see Space on the low ground. Mira got himself up on the high here, so the Mayhem is still trying to decide where the sort of the weakest part. Yeah, the Gladiator set up. He's working against it. Mira with the EMP goes towards Bazaya, and they get rid of him instantly. He also had a Graviton Surge, and that's just not going to be a factor unless it can be a resurrect from Big Goose, and he gets him back into the fight. Big factory from the Goose, and Shadow needs to come to the primal when Space is going to take a breather. Now Mira's back with 9 guard, but he needs carefully. He's not infallible, he's not invulnerable, and looks like Gargoyle wants to prove it.
It just look how deep they have to go to get rid of the Roadhog. As, like you mentioned, it's like bringing like 1,000 HP back. Space, just the self-destruct came up in the sky. Would have hit him, he just took a breather, just kind of like walked it off. It's really changed the way the game is flowed right now. So that'll be a point A take for the Florida Mayhem. So they do have a chance to get point B. Coming in, no EMP available. They'll have a Coalescence, maybe a Coalescence with a Death Blossom, try and follow that up. Force some ultimates out of the Gladiators, and then come back with maybe a better chance.
I mean, this could be way more unpleasant to fight Gargoyle team. They could be dealing with Reaper or Sombra, but the enemy team actually has the Ashe Tracer, so that's a little bit safer to keep going with the exception of the Roadhog, but Space got hacked and again, and that is he turned back away while he's in Coalescence, but will it be enough? Gargoyle self-destruct only claims burn. Space and Mira able to step forward the point ball. Great ball here from BQB. Mira steps back, grabs to the point, just to make sure. 1 minute 50 on the clock, and Yaki again. His best, that'll be a solid. He just wants to hack on Space here to get it while everyone dives on the boat. My God, Birdring is able to get rid of Yaki awfully quick. The damage is going a long way there, and all of a sudden for his plan, he'll come crashing down.
That was so fast there from Birdring, and that is huge. That took what could have been a Florida Mayhem point take, right? Because they would have had Coalescent Sound Barrier here. Take a look. Damage boost
boosted,
from
by the way.
Oh, that is filthy.
Nicely done. Near the extra shot there as well. Obviously, damage boosted body shot. Gets you pretty close. Sees that sound barrier now. Mayhem Gargoyle apparently did pretty benefit from it at all. No one really bothering Birdring right now. And Bob's the point flash texture in Space have gone down. BQB starting to fire up a little bit here when they need to deal with his vantage point. Out there with BQB. Won't get the teleport off. And that's Zaya bubble long he's in the EMP. Mira, no more shield to the hit. Manually hacked up the EMP just to be certain that Zaya wasn't lining anyone up. 13 seconds remain in the round with the Florida Mayhem come up with the goods and secure themselves extra innings. Did the Gladiators suspect something? This is a little abnormal, I would say. They spot a BQB now, and how do they respond?
I mean, well, look, this is going to be very difficult for Birdring, right? Widow has the advantage in terms of range here. And they're just trying to get pickoffs. This is what you're playing for. So, Florida, completely new look. BQB is Bird Kebster here below him. Ooh, Big Goose gotta be so careful.
Fake goes down early though, so that's Space combining. Things are going pretty wrong for the Florida Mayhem. Yeah, Matthew. I mean, this composition relies on BQB getting a pick, but getting the full hold here in extra innings.
Yeah, Fate will get a touch. Doesn't really amount to much of anything as here comes Gargoyle flying in over the top. He'll be dealt with quickly. But Space able to get that first blood, just a look right around the corner. For a second, I was a bit scared of the fighter from BQB. It looked like potentially he was going to take a big goose at the start, which would have been disastrous for the Gladiators. But you know, the stallers just keep coming in. No real regrets here. Is
40 seconds to work with. That's a big deal. It's an extra team fight. Mirror now knows that there's Zenyatta on the other side as he's hit with a Discord orb. Purple haze takes him back to better days, maybe.
See Space just walking backwards, just using his body to just occupy space in the joke. Doesn't want to get headshot here. On of charge over to BQB. Yeah, it's weird. It's pretty vulnerable, like against like a Tracer, let's say, but we do know how they've kind of played, everyone's kind of played Zen Mercy in the past, where the Mercy just kind of flashes onto the Zen, just hold on to him for dear life, so.
Chris also wants to damage with BQB the most out of his action as well, so we'll see how he splits it. The Gladiators get this pretty safe position to play on now. They have to and low goal mine. That was a good timing on the bubble, but it's fighting grenade from Shad. The boy don't miss. No chance for Gargoyle to come back up. We have a 2v2 on the fight. Mirror actually goes down through the dynamite space. Needs to open up an opportunity. There goes the resurrect opportunity now with the Mercy off the table. But Yaki and BQB are able to strike pretty good blow. It'll be time now for Florida to get the reinforcements.
The damage dealers for Florida go absolutely crazy here to be able to even give them a chance to fight this again. With a headshot on the Kempster. As you have the reinforcements coming back now for the Florida Mayhem.
I can see the goal. Going to BQB. Removes it now. BQB can't get away from the dynamite bomb. Used here. And BQB gets it safely back to the point. That hook didn't connect, but Yaki was able to break the chain by ducking around the corner to the left. And a transcendence now for Gangnam Jin secures it here. 9 team able to come out with a W here on Volskaya.
I don't know, I still don't get why Genji here, because we do know that Yaki is a really good Genji player, but we've seen him play this summer really good in this series, and Tracer as well. And I think both of those heroes, you would argue, are more powerful than Genji right now. Genji here, like in terms of like verticality and mobility, maybe that's the case, but I don't know if it's really worth all that.
I mean, compared to Reaper, there's also that thing to consider. Genji's strength is his mobility. He doesn't have that when EMPs come in. Straight forth back to Yaki. Getting some deflect action in. A miracle gone down here. Now the cleanup can ensue, and maybe that's it. A little bit, safer way to pressure Mercy when they try to go for a resurrection here, but this has nothing to do with the Tracer.
The Nano Blade could be pretty big. You have Nano Blade plus a Bob potentially here for the next fight. So Florida does get a defensive hold, playing the Genji here. Hero we didn't really expect much at all from in the playoffs.
And that's because some of his buffs, well, didn't stay buffed. I'll put it that way.
Bren would say it was a target nerf directly at Bren.
Gotcha. Well, so far, Yaki's trying to prove the Hazel's wrong. Paired with the Dragon Blade, Yaki can get a lot more done with this now. By a lot more, I mean just killing more people rather effortlessly. I mean, you switch to Zen because you need a blade counter, but I mean, Florida must feel good because they've definitely forced the Gladiators to pick a less robust support or less safe to get some kind of competition set up. Bob truckles on through there and gives him a space needed to get away. He's hacked, but he actually doesn't need his jump hack there inside the small room. He's able to get away from the whole hog anyway. The rest of his team not faring nearly as well. Though Kessler has gone down the last couple swings of the Primal Rage. Fist's able to claim him. And Shad, no deal. He's sitting duck for BQB to pick off. Hero is able to get through that shield for the most part. Space with perfectly the strap gun gets for both supports. Florida Mayhem now looks like this setup's on its last legs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, BQB still picking up some kills, but it's not going to be enough here to get a hold. As Space will bring in Garber to try and get it low. Do you have a touch here? Is Florida trying to make this interesting, but you're following a massive collapse. Gladiators should be able to get this. Florida, they'll be able to hold this high ground rather easy. Nobody on the Gladiators can really access it at all here.
BQB saw a glimpse, I think, of the big use of the above the courthouse, so probably surmised that Bird Ring would be close by on the left side. Just a blitz might be enough to help the Mayhem actually form solid game plan here. So that crack by Yaki, he used it. This is probably Otherwise, just wait for the nano boost. That will be a little while longer. Gangnam Jin's already been taken down. Resurrected by Chris here. Birdwing trying to get away with the coach gun as Yaki bears down upon him.
Big use pops Valkyrie. You can see what the Dynamite wanted to live there.
Look at the card. Look at the card, Matt. So much progress gained while the Mayhem were trying to get Gangnam Jin back into the fight. Eventually, they're going to have to commit, but they're scared of doing with this Roadhog set setup.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, the Gladiators don't have to contest high ground at all, right? They just have to have Birdwing fire some shots up there, get some players weak. So much card progress, relatively nothing here. Is Mir with a grab. Can't really kind of throw it up towards the high ground. Has to wait until some players drop.
I mean, Florida want to drop on the Zenyatta, but Shaz has another Transcendent here, or it has a Transcendent, should I say. Gangnam Jin lets a Biotic Grenade go. It's a problem in space.
They're trying to force this high ground here, the Gladiators, to get the Mayhem to drop. But they're so slow. Like, they don't have Lucio. They're so slow to try and get up there.
And Space probably doesn't want to use Transcendence here. I mean, without, Shaz, without Space, because that healing sort of goes to waste without a big body to benefit from. So, if we Space back into the fight, but here's an Nano boosted blade. And damage boosted. Birdwing gets blown up inside the Transcendence. The BQB brought back into the fight. The card's getting pretty close to the point now, but now the Gladiators are forced to back away. There's only 16 seconds left. Shaz is removed. Fate with primal range now is just doing some scouting as the Gladiators group for one last push.
You still have space here. It's close to the card. He may be more. That'll be a biotic grenade connected. That'll be the grab that comes through from Mirror. As you see, the grab, you were never able to get a good use of it because the Florida Mayhem did a nice job of not being baited to the low ground.
No one there really now. Kevster has been removed. Shaz fades away from the card. We almost want to return as Vinkus swings in from the top rope and is sent packing stage right. There it is. The Mayhem are able to hold the Gladiators off. That must have been...
You have Roadhog, Widowmaker, Farah, and Zenyatta in the mix with the damage boost available. Good luck, Fate. I mean, this is going to be tough.
If Chris can follow him in, I think Shaz can get blown up pretty quickly by the setup. I think the Mayhem are fighting for position more than anything right now. And there it is. So we're now going to Yaki won't be using a Raven Mirror. Oh man, gets blown up. There it is. Yaki, a lot of damage. I mean, he'd love to take the fight to Birdwing now. There is a Zenyatta around that same force, so he needs to respect it. Well, I think he's going down. There's no resurrect onto the Roadhog. Mirror falls leagues away from where the action is.
Shaz will take out Yaki, but...
Fate does well to stay alive there as Mirror just made a beeline for it. Still quite low from Gargoyle. It's close to a self-destruct. Valkyrie between him and the whole hunt for Mirror is going to push back. Taken down by Kevster. The Mercy is gone for the Florida Mayhem. Going to get killed with that self-destruct on a target like Roadhog. What a huge pick.
The self-destruct there, so the Blade gets one, the self-destruct gets one, but Chris using Valkyrie able to stay alive a lot through that, provide some healing, but another great combination where Gargoyle uses the self-destruct in a spot where they can execute a resurrection off, and they bring Fate back into the fight. A big turnaround there from Florida Mayhem, as it looked for a bit that was going to be the Gladiators, making like a tremendous last stand hold.
3 minutes 45 on the clock now, so Florida working with a decent amount of time, and they switch BQB over towards the Widowmaker now. This composition is morphing before our very eyes. Yaki will have a nano boost next time he goes for a blade. And Vinkus has that valve, so expect to resurrect. Don't get too excited about the first move here. Self-destruct on the wall. Fate, he's given a nano boost now with the primal rage. Normally he'll stack it, he's a little bit, but Fate maybe thought he was going to go down anyway, so he fancied the extra help. Still hitting fairly hard, but ultimately not finding any big kills. Fate being defeated is gargantuan here. If Yaki can get rid of the Diva, that will be massive.
You got a ton of value out of that nano primal range, though. Just look how much space it's brought the cart. We're almost at the end of the map here. Now a little bit ended.
That biotic grenade from Gangnam Jin basically just one theory there and then Matthew. There was no way Mirror could recover from that kind of scrutiny. And the blade from Yaki gets rid of space. Vinkus has no choice but to try and go for something akin to a resurrect, but looks like there's no bodies left. And the Florida Mayhem seal the deal. And they book their ticket to the next round of loser bracket play. The Gladiators are vanquished.